Stage 1, $50. When money takes up all your mental space. It's Tuesday night. It's past 11. You throw your keys on the table and carelessly drop your shoes by the door. You've been at work all day, but your mind is more tired than your body. Before changing your clothes, you take your phone out of your pocket. You open the banking app, $50.23. You look at it for 3 seconds. You close the screen. You open it again, as if the number is going to change by looking at it. Payday isn't tomorrow. Not the day after either. There are still 5 days left. The next morning, you're standing inside the supermarket. Your shopping cart is almost full. But before you reach the register, you slowly take a few things and put them back. Not because you don't like them anymore, but because you have to choose. Better cheese or gas for the weekend. Meat or the internet bill. Everything has become a trade-off. The worst part of this life isn't the lack of money, it's the lack of silence. Your mind never turns off. What if the car breaks down? What if I get sick? What if the landlord raises the rent? Every thought ends with a number. A few days later, your friend texts, "Want to go out on Saturday?" You want to go. But before answering, you open your phone's calculator. Food, gas, maybe coffee. In the end, you just write, "I'm a bit busy this week." You aren't busy, and it's not that you don't feel like it. Your budget just won't allow it. And slowly you learn that some lies are just to protect a person's pride. These are the days you learn the first rule of money. When money is tight, almost no decision is financial. All decisions are emotional. And emotional decisions usually become the most expensive decisions in life. Stage 2, $10,000. The first night you sleep peacefully. 3 years have passed. You are still the same person. The same sense of humor, the same friends, the same daily commute to work. But one thing has quietly changed. This time, at the end of the month, when your paycheck comes, all that money doesn't disappear. Every month before paying rent, you transfer an amount to another account. Just $300. Some months, $400. Sometimes just $100. It's small, but it doesn't matter. Because for the first time, you are sending money to the future, not just to today. The temptation is always there. Your friends plan for a weekend getaway. One of them brings his new car. Everyone gathers around it. You like it too. For a few minutes, you even imagine yourself behind the wheel. When you return home at night, you open the car sales website. You calculate the monthly payment. According to the bank, you can buy it. But before you click the Submit button, you open your savings account page. You look at it for a few seconds. Then you quietly close the laptop. No one sees this decision. No one applauds you for it. But later you realize some of life's most important financial decisions are exactly the purchases you didn't make. One Monday morning, out of habit, before getting out of bed, you open the banking app. It takes a few moments for your brain to process the number. $10,184. You refresh the page again, the same number. A short smile appears on your face, not out of excitement, out of peace. It is the first time you feel that if something bad happens tomorrow, everything isn't going to fall apart. 2 weeks later, that exact thing happens. On the way back from work, the check engine light comes on. You take the car straight to the mechanic. After a few minutes, the mechanic closes the hood. It's going to cost about $1,400. A few years ago, hearing this sentence could have ruined your entire week. You might not even sleep. But this time you just ask, when will it be ready? Not because $1,400 is a small amount, because this expense no longer destroys your future. That same night, the mechanic's invoice is on the table. the laptop left open next to it. Subconsciously, you start calculating. If you save the same amount every year, if your salary increases a little, if you continue on this same path. A few minutes later, the Excel sheet is full of numbers. But the further you go, the less enthusiastic you become. At 60 years old, it's not a bad number, but it's not the life you always imagined in your mind either. For the first time, instead of fearing your account being low, you fear your future being limited. The next day at lunch, co-workers are talking about the annual raise. Everyone is happy. You smile too, but this time you are just a listener, because your mind is somewhere else. When you return home at night, instead of turning on the TV, you open the laptop. You type just one sentence into Google. How do people make money without trading their time? You hit the search button. You don't know it yet, but this very question is going to divide your life into two parts. Before tonight and after tonight. Stage 3, $100,000. For first time money works without you. At first, nothing exciting happens. After work, you go straight home, eat dinner quickly, open the laptop. Until midnight, you work on a project you aren't even sure will succeed. 3 months pass like this, then 6 months. Some nights you are so tired that you fall asleep right there at the desk. You wake up in the morning with keyboard button marks on your cheek and think to yourself, is it really worth it? Most people never see this part. They only see the result. But between an idea and success, there are thousands of hours that no one claps for. One morning, like always before going to work, you log into the sales panel. It takes a few seconds to realize, last night while you were sleeping, someone bought your product. $247. It's not a huge number. It wouldn't even cover a week's expenses. But for a few minutes you just stare at the screen, because for the first time, someone gave you money while you weren't even there. At that exact moment, a thought crosses your mind. If one person bought it, maybe 100 people will. From that day on, your goal is no longer more income. Your goal is building something that stays alive even without your presence. You watch fewer movies at night. You go out less on weekends. Every dollar the project makes gets spent back into that same project. Your friends think you are pushing too hard. Maybe they are right, but they don't see what you see every day. A chart that slowly climbs, not by leaps, but by repetition. A year later, the project's income crosses $1,000 a month, then $2,000, then $4,000. You haven't quit your job yet, but a strange thing has happened. For the first time, your salary is not your biggest source of income. A few months later, your boss invites you to his office. It's good news, a raise, a promotion, exactly what you wished for over the years. When you come out of the office, coworkers congratulate you. You smile, you say thanks. But on the way home, more than the raise, you think about the project that made you money in your sleep again last night. And right there you realize, you used to live for a raise. Now a raise is just good news, not your life's path. Late that same year, on a rainy afternoon, you put all the accounts together: savings, investments, business value, debts. You pick up the calculator, calculate one more time, then again to be sure. $103,680. For the first time, your net worth has crossed $100,000. A few years ago, you thought when you reached this number, you would feel rich. But the truth is completely different. You don't feel rich, you feel capable. Now you know if they took everything away from you, you could probably build it from scratch again. And that is worth more than the $100,000 itself. But just when you think you finally found the formula, life changes the rules of the game again. The first big investment you make with confidence goes into a loss a few months later. Not a few $100s, not a few $1,000s, almost $18,000. You stare at the chart until midnight. Your finger hovers over the sell button. If you sell right now, the loss becomes real. If you hold, maybe it falls further. This time, it's no longer a matter of money. It's a matter of whether you trust your decision from yesterday. You don't sell. 3 months later, the investment not only recovers, it goes higher than its starting point. That night you realize that waiting, when it comes from logic and not fear, is a type of investment itself. And this is the exact moment the difference between a saver and an investor is formed. Stage 4, $500,000. When saying no becomes more important than making money, a few more years have passed. You are 35 now. Almost every day someone has an idea for you. One wants to open a restaurant. One is looking for a partner. One says if they just had $50,000 in capital, their life would change. You used to get excited hearing these things. Now, the first question you ask yourself isn't, how much profit does it have? It's, if everything goes wrong, what do I lose? One Saturday afternoon, your old friend calls, talking excitedly about a project. This opportunity might only happen once. He explains it to you for 2 hours, shows charts, makes plans. At the end of the talk, he says just one sentence. You just bring the capital, I'll handle the rest. A few years ago, you might have transferred the money that same night, but now you just say, let me think about it for a few days. When you return home, you open your notebook. At the top of the page, you draw 2 columns. If it succeeds, if it fails. 2 hours later, you've made your decision. The next morning, you call your friend. You politely decline. He goes silent for a few seconds, then laughs and says, since you got rich, you become too cautious. When you hang up the phone, his sentence stays in your mind. But for the first time, you don't get upset that someone thinks of you this way, because you've realized every yes is actually saying no to dozens of other opportunities. A few months later, that same project fails. Your friend loses almost all his capital. When you hear the news, you aren't happy. You just sit quietly and realize the biggest difference between wealthy people and the rest isn't finding more opportunities. It is rejecting the wrong opportunities. Your net worth has now passed $500,000. It's a big number, but a more important thing has happened. For the first time, the income from your investments in business is more than your salary. One day your monthly salary is deposited. You look at it, smile, put the phone in your pocket. A few hours later, you just remember you didn't even look at the amount. That same salary that your whole life depended on once is now just one of your multiple income streams. But just when you feel you've finally taken control of the situation, the market decides to teach you another lesson. In less than 3 weeks, your investment portfolio's value drops by about $65,000. The news is full of words like crisis and crash. Your coworker says anxiously, I think I need to sell everything. You are scared too. It's a lie to say you aren't scared. But this time, instead of opening the brokerage app, you open a notebook you wrote years ago for this exact day. On the first page, you wrote just one sentence. On calm days, make decisions for stormy days. You put the phone away. You make no trades that day. 6 months later, the market not only bounces back, it goes higher than before. That day you finally realize peace is not a feeling, it is a skill. And this skill is usually acquired at a higher cost than any other investment. One night you calculate all your assets together again. House, investments, business, cash. $528,400. You look at it for a few seconds, then you close the laptop, because this time, something more than the number makes you happy. The fact that you no longer panic over every unexpected event. And maybe this is the first real sign of becoming wealthy. Stage 5, $2 million. The first time time becomes your own. You are 41 years old. It's 8:30 in the morning, but you are still home. Not because you took the day off today, not because you got sick, just because you have no meetings today. You remember 15 years ago, if you were home at 8:30, you probably had stress. You felt you had to be somewhere. You had to be doing something. Now you are sitting by the window at that same hour, slowly drinking your coffee. For the first time, you are in no rush for the morning to end. You open your calendar. The next 3 days are almost empty. Seeing an empty calendar used to scare you, because it meant less income. Today, it means more freedom. A few weeks later, your sister calls. She says your father needs to have surgery. It's nothing dangerous, but you need to be by his side for a few days. 15 years ago, the first thing that came to your mind would be, how do I get time off from work? What if my pay gets cut? This time you just buy a ticket. You leave the same day. At the hospital, you are sitting by your father's bed. He is asleep. You look at the monitor next to the bed. Then suddenly a thought crosses your mind. All those years you worked until midnight, all the weekends you spent on your business, all the purchases you didn't make, they were all actually to buy this very moment, being here without worry. A few months later, you decide to go on a trip for 3 weeks, not to escape work, to see what actually happens if you aren't there. The first day, you check your email every half hour. The second day, only a few times. The third day, you forget where your phone is. At first, you feel guilty. After a few days, you feel light. And the second week, for the first time, you realize your business is still selling. The investments are still working. The rents have been deposited. And no one is waiting for you to make a decision every 5 minutes. That night, you stand on the hotel balcony, look at the sea, and say to yourself, I finally understand what freedom means. When you return, an old friend invites you for lunch. In the middle of the conversation, he laughs and says, You got lucky. You stay silent for a few seconds. You don't answer him. How can you explain to someone that luck takes another form too? Luck was the night you invested your money instead of buying a car. It was the weekend you worked on your project instead of resting. It was the hundreds of small decisions that no one saw. A few days later, your accountant sends you the annual report, puts all the assets together, business value, investments, real estate, cash. The final number on the page, $2,086,000. It's strange. The first time you reached $10,000, you just looked at the number for a few minutes. Now you've passed $2 million. And what makes you happier isn't the number itself. It's that yesterday, in the middle of a regular afternoon, you drank coffee with your mother for 2 hours, without looking at your watch even once. But that same night, a new question enters your mind. If I no longer have to work for money, then what should I strive for from now on? This question slowly changes everything. Because until today, the goal was building wealth. From tomorrow, the goal is building an impact. Appreciate you guys hanging with me all the way to the end. If you want to see more about how the rich actually think and live their lives, definitely drop a comment and let me know. And while you're at it, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one.